Need to get your language model up and running in DSPy? You'll see exactly how to import the library, create an LM instance with your OpenAI API key, and configure it as the default, all in 3 straightforward lines. Import DSPy. LM equals DSPy. LM, OpenAI/GPT-4o mini. API key equals your OpenAI API key. DSPy, configure LM equals LM. This demonstrates the basic language model setup pattern in DSPy, where you initialize a specific model provider and configure it as the default backend for all subsequent operations. The code shows a minimal 2-step process, creating an LM instance with provider and authentication details, then making that instance globally available. The key characteristic here is the explicit combination of model identification and API key in a single constructor call. The pattern works by first instantiating a concrete LM object with the provider's model name and access credentials, then registering that object as the default through a configuration call. This establishes a direct, visible connection between your code and the language model service before any processing begins. The approach keeps the setup minimal while making the model choice and access requirements immediately apparent. This approach matters because it creates a clear, predictable starting point for any DSPy program. By consolidating the model selection and authentication into just 2 lines of code, it separates setup concerns from the subsequent logic while maintaining explicit visibility of which model will handle all operations. The pattern is particularly useful when you need to quickly establish a specific model as the default backend without additional configuration complexity. Let's break it down line by line. Import DSPy. This imports DSPy, the core library for defining and configuring language model pipelines. All subsequent LM operations depend on this import. LM equals DSPy. LM, OpenAI/GPT-4o mini. API key equals your OpenAI API key. This initializes a DSPy language model instance using OpenAI's GPT-4o mini model with your API key. The OpenAI/ prefix specifies the provider, and this instance will be used in the next configuration step. DSPy, configure LM equals LM. This sets the language model instance as the default for all DSPy operations. The configuration ensures subsequent DSPy modules will use this specific model. DSPy LM initialization. This code imports the DSPy library, creates a language model instance for GPT-4o mini with an explicit API key, and sets it as the default using DSPy, configure. The model string must include the provider prefix exactly as shown, with the OpenAI/namespace for OpenAI models. These 3 lines establish the complete foundation for all subsequent DSPy operations that require language model access.
The port that listens to no server answers every call.